We make you smarter at the Modern Nose Clinic because we want you to be able to read your own home sleep test results. Here's the first page of a sleep test, having removed the patient identifiers. Yes, I put some scribbles here, and we'll walk through the most important pieces of your sleep test. You should have yours in your hand right now. The following terms will be covered during this educational module. The AHI, which stands for Apnea-Hypopnea Index. More on that later. The lowest oxygen that was measured during your sleep study. The longest pause in your breathing, or not moving air for what period of time. What was the longest pause? Changes in sleep position and the impact of your sleep position on how well you're sleeping. Your heart's condition, heart rate variability, especially whenever the oxygen level goes low. And snoring in each position. Now let us begin first with the AHI. Occasionally the check engine light will go off on your car. This means you must pull your car over and stop what you're doing. There could be a catastrophic outcome where you could lose your engine because of overheating or other reasons. When I was younger, this typically was because there was a radiator hose problem and the engine was overheating. You simply had to stop what you're doing until the engine cooled down, then you'd fill up the radiator with fluid and you'd be on your way. Hopefully there was not too much damage to your engine when the check engine light went off. With your body, the check engine light is the Apnea-Hypopnea Index. This will go off every time the amount of oxygen flowing in your bloodstream has fallen to a level that we consider to be unsafe. If left at that level, you could have organ failure. For that reason, similar to the check engine light in your car, you must stop what you're doing. You must emerge from that deep sleep, that deep restorative sleep, into a lighter level of sleep. Sometimes you may not wake up. Sometimes you will wake up and you'll think you need to go to the bathroom. But in fact, you've been ripped out of a deep dream because you needed to have more muscle tone in your airway so you could move oxygen back and forth with your lungs and bring that oxygen level up to a safe level. The AHI means how many times per hour that your body's internal check engine light went off per hour. So that'll be on the top of the first page in bold, AHI. Also important, how low did your oxygen actually go? You'll find this information on the top of the first page. It will say lowest oxygen recorded, and there will be some percentage. Ideally, you're keeping your oxygen level above 92%. If the oxygen goes low enough to a dangerously low level, or if you pause your breathing long enough, the check engine light or the AHI will go off. The final page of your sleep study will show how often that happened. In order to find the longest pause in breathing, you'll need to turn in your sleep report several pages to a piece of paper entitled Sleep View Report, and you look to the bottom. I will point out where you can find that as we walk through a report in a few moments. The sleep position is best found on the last page of your report where the raw data is. Your provider will be in the room with you and walk through this with you in a few moments so you can see for yourself what positions you slept in throughout the evening and how this correlated with your AHI events and any heart rate variability. Your heart can be put under stress whenever the oxygen level goes low. So it is important to watch your heart rate throughout the evening and see whether you're having a restful sleep or whether or not you're having quite a bit of variability. This is best seen on the last page where the raw data is. So let's walk through a report so you can see everything real time. So now that we got the terms down, let's walk through a report. This one's had the patient identifiers removed. So first, when you want to find your AHI, go to the impression, you'll find it right over here, the Apnea-Hypopnea Index. The lowest oxygen recorded, you can find it right here. We want it to be above 92% if possible. There's a little bit about heart rate variability here. The lowest your heart rate was and the highest your heart rate was. This section talks about our recommended, there's a treatment spectrum, something as simple as weight loss and changing your sleeping position, more involved interventions such as an oral appliance and CPAP, and then if you have nasal obstruction, we can certainly talk about that. And the end of this here, we don't recommend surgery. Surgery is rarely necessary, but sometimes there are maybe one patient a year who could benefit from surgery. This is a bunch of blah, blah, blah. It's how we decide when the apnea-hypopnea index should be measured. It's somewhat national criteria. So feel free to look through this if you'd like, but that's what that is. Now this is the SleepView report, and this is where you're going to find information such as the longest oxygen apnea duration for this patient was 45 seconds. But over here we've got the longest oxygen hypopnea duration, which was 60 seconds. So this wasn't an apnea, but it was pretty low still. So this person held their breath between 45 and 60 seconds at the longest. And then as we continue to move through, we get to the raw data. And this raw data here, to me, is the most important. This is where we'll spend most of our time. Start off with your body position. You can see right here, supine or back, left, right, prone or stomach, and upright. This patient went to sleep at 9:53, pushed the green button, rolled around, and rolled onto the left side. Then rolled around again around 10:30 and was on the right side, rolled around, was on the left side, and then rolled on to the right, and basically rolled back and forth throughout the evening. With this information in mind, we can go up and go down to see what happened in the different positions. All of the dots on this one here are the check engine light going off, the apnea-hypopnea index. So, and then this is your oxygen level. So we want to be 100%. Whenever it falls down low, it's trouble. You can see that that led to these little dots being triggered. And so you can follow this here, and we like to see it nice and tight and nice and high. We don't like these desaturations here. Then as you move down, here's your heart rate. And the person started off awake, their heart rate is 70, and as they fell asleep, it fell down to 60. And we really love things like this where it's nice and tight and small variability. We don't really like the big variability. This is not a very restorative sleep. The person wasn't relaxed there. And again, you can go up and down. You can say, oh, there's a lot of events that occurred while this happened. And perhaps when this happened, it was relatively good. And then finally, we've got the snoring. And this patient did not snore at all, except for here, very little bit. And yet, they had clinically significant sleep apnea. So take the time, look at your sleep report, and see what you think. And then I'll be in with you in just a few minutes, or one of our other providers, and we'll be happy to continue answering questions at that time. So, Dr. Douglas Skarada signing off, Modern Nose Clinic. And oh yeah, did I mention? I don't know if I did. We know your nose.